Shalom. First off, I want to give all honors, all glory, and all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who are the ones that gave us this truth, wisdom, and knowledge. Shalom to the elect of Israel, beginning with the 144,000. And to all you Akim pushing out this word for the edification of the lost sheep of the house of Israel. I pray that this lesson finds you well and that Yahweh by Shemal Shai bestows mercy upon you as we enter into these last days. This is the brother Halal from the Great Millstone Chicago camp. And this lesson will be a response to the elder apostle Gabar at the Daily Edification channel, and the lesson that he made based upon this quote by this man by the name of Arthur Pink. So I'm going to read this quote, and it says, "The Bible is no lazy man's book. Much of its treasure, like the valuable minerals stored up in the bowels of the earth, only yield themselves up to a diligent seeker." You know, this is a very profound quote that this man said. You know, basically saying that when it comes to these scriptures, you know, this book is not for a lazy person. You know, this book has a lot of hidden treasures and a lot of breakdowns within it that, you know, many people to this day still don't know. Because, you know, as we all know, the scriptures is the most sold book, the most sought after book, and yet only a chosen few know the true breakdowns within it. Why? Because they diligently seeked it. You know, and we, as men of Yahweh by Shemal Shai, who learn from our apostles and our elders, we have been given the true breakdown of these scriptures that the rest of these people simply don't know. So I'm going to start this all off with the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2 and verse 15. And it says, "Study to shew thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth." So it's telling you what? Study to shew thyself approved unto the Most High. You know, as men of Yahweh by Shemal Shai, especially us younger men, you know, us disciples, we have to constantly be studying these scriptures daily. You know, reading 6 to 10 chapters a day. And not only reading, but understanding the context of the information that we're taking in. You know, matter of fact, let me get the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, and I'll start at verse 5. It says, "Get wisdom, get understanding, forget it not, neither decline from the words of my mouth. Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding." So not only, you know, when it comes to these scriptures, we can't just read the Bible just to get it out the way. No, we have to understand and retain the information that we're reading, man. You know, we have to keep it locked in our minds, man. So that way when we're teaching, you know, and a person comes up and asks us questions, we can give them an answer. You know, let me get another scripture. Let's see. This is the book of 1 Thessalonians, chapter 5, and I'll start at verse 19. It says, "Quench not the spirit, despise not prophesying, prove all things, hold fast that which is good." So we have to prove all things. You know, when people come in and ask us questions, you know, that are within the Bible, we have to prove all things, man. You know, we have to go into history, you know, go into certain relics, because the majority of people don't know these breakdowns, man. You know, a lot of people only read the Bible at face value, and they don't know context clues. They don't really go into words. They don't really know that the Old Testament was written in the Hebrew and that the New Testament was written in the Greek. So they get confused when they read stuff like John 3:16, and they don't know that the word world in the Greek goes into what? The word cosmos in that particular chapter. which means what? A collection of particulars of any sort. So, the majority of people don't know the truth of these scriptures, man. They only read it at face value. Let's get another scripture. Let's get the book of Proverbs, chapter 2, and I'll start at verse 2, and it says, matter of fact, I start at verse 1. It says, "My son, if thou wilt receive my words and hide my commandments with thee, so that thou incline thy ear unto wisdom and apply thine heart to understanding. Yea, if thou criest after knowledge and liftest up thy voice for understanding, if thou seekest her as silver and search for her treasures, and search for her as for hidden treasures, then shalt thou understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of the Most High. For the Lord giveth wisdom out of his mouth, cometh knowledge and understanding. He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. He is a buckler to all them that walketh uprightly." That's right. So we have to retain the knowledge of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua constantly and daily. We have to be read in these true scriptures. We have to read the entire roll, which, me personally, I haven't finished, all the entirety of the Bible, but I've read the majority of it. But we have to know all these things, man. And we have to know all the breakdowns that's written within them, because this wisdom and knowledge is ultimately going to be what sustains us in these last days. So the last scripture I'm going to get is the book of Isaiah, chapter 33, and verse 6. And it says, "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and the strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure." So ultimately, in these days to come, we know that we're in the last days, and eventually, a time of great trouble and tribulation is going to come upon all the world. And in these days to come, wisdom and knowledge is going to be our stability, man. Let's look up the word stability in the etymology. Salakia, I spelled it wrong. The word stability, it means of a person's or character, firmness of resolve, mental equilibrium, steadfastness, firmness, solidity, stability, durability, and constancy. So our character, this wisdom and knowledge that we have, is going to keep us firm. It's going to keep us safe from all manner of trouble and all manner of evil. Ultimately, our faith in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So this is why it's important to search these scriptures out. It may seem, when you come into this truth, it may seem like it won't be that profitable, but in these times to come, we're going to need the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, the word of the Lord, more than ever, because it's ultimately going to be our stability in these times of trouble. So I hope this lesson was edifying, and I want to give all honor, all glory, and all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakakodas. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone GMS at Ruwell Shalom, Kwame Sharala, and the Bible Ball. I'll see you all in the next lesson.